And here we are, putting on the final bits of roofing. Now, of course, it would be ideal if we had really nice long pallets that spanned the whole roof, but we didn't. So we had some that did, and what we would do is we would have a pallet that spanned the whole, and then we'd have two pallets that had to be joined in the middle. And the reason why we did a long one and then two joined one and a long one and two joined ones is because it's a lot easier to secure the roof. So here I'm drilling a hole through a long hole pallet, through the thick board, through a short pallet, a segment that only goes a little more than halfway over the roof, and then I'm going to put a peg through that hole. Now, I wasn't able to use the hand drill there because there wasn't enough space to be able to turn the hand drill. I've got John holding up the wall with a piece of bamboo so that it stays in the exact place that it needs to be at, so that I can pound the peg through one hole in through the next. Now this peg is going to hold this half pallet to the whole pallet, and that whole pallet spans the whole roof, so it's much stronger. And by putting a few pegs in, even a half pallet joined to another half pallet with sandwiched in between two full pallets appears to be just as strong as whole pallets. So these pegs worked amazing. Definitely the solution to use.
There it is.
That's beauty, baby.
Ouchie.
Okay.
That's blood. Blood.
So now I need a pallet that is a certain length to be able to finish off the segment of the roof. So a chainsaw actually works really good for cutting pallets, because sometimes it's hard to get to the parts that you want to cut. But a circle saw can work, or a handsaw can also, of course, work. And so all we're doing here is getting a segment of pallet to join to the roof to finish off the...
Hey. Okay. Ready? Ready?
shorter pallet that wasn't able to span that we just pegged in. So we'll put this one in, we'll peg it in, and then we'll only have one solid piece left to put on at the end, and the roof will be complete.
Now Shelly's doing it.
So here we're about to put on the last pieces of roof, and we realized that we hadn't raised up this side of the roof. So it's really important to remember that one side of the roof must be taller than the other side of the roof, otherwise you'll have a flat roof and the water will sit on the top of the roof. So what we did is, because the pallets were all the same length, we just added 4 inches to one side of the roof so that the side was 4 inches taller, creating the drainage. And all we did was we used segments of 2x4, and we didn't use whole 2x4s double layered thick because that would have required a lot of 2x4. we just used pieces of 2x4 and sort of blocked them, staggered them, so that we only had to use little pieces. So we do, you know, one piece of 2x4 and then a gap, and then another piece of 2x4 and a gap, and another piece of 2x4 and a gap, and then we would then do the second layer, and we'd put the next 2x4 that spanned the gap below it. So we had 2 layers of 2x4s and had gaps on both layers, but was able to still create the 4 inches that we needed. And so here we are, we're putting up the very last piece of roofing up on top of the pallet wall, and we'll peg this together and it will be complete. Oh yes, another good day. I love focus. I love productivity, evolution, success, abundance. The roof is on. All the walls are up. All we need left now is our front door, which is right here, and a waterproofing for the roof. For the roof, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the top in carpeting, because carpeting is abundantly free all over the Metroplex, and then we're going to lay a tarp over the top of that, and it'll work perfectly. It'll be fast, it'll be easy. Go. For the outside of the coop here, we had some chicken wire already, and so we're reusing it, repurposing it for this chicken coop. And we've tacked it into the wall there, and we left about a foot extra chicken wire, which we dug a trench, and we'll lay the chicken wire down in that trench and then cover it with dirt. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to keep anything from digging in there. Otherwise it's pretty easy to dig underneath and get in. So say for example a coyote or a raccoon or a dog comes and wants to get in here, they start digging at the base of the chicken coop, and their claws and their nails are going to hit all this chicken wire that's down in there, and they won't be able to get through it, and they won't like it, so they're going to stop. And that'll propel anything from digging underneath. So we've got a chicken wire border around the whole thing. We dug the trench, and then we'll cover the trench with dirt, and that'll be that. Now the rest of this coop here, obviously these slats are too big. A raccoon, a possum, you know, a cat could easily get through this space, and it's not a chicken coop if it's not secure. So that's something we've got to take care of. Of course, there's all sorts of options. You know, you could use some plywood it over. You could, you know, get more chicken wire. You know, you could get old fencing, which is really a great solution. If you live near any suburbs, if you live in any type of a metroplex, on Craigslist or whatever, even if you just drive around, it's real easy to find, you know, people that have taken down their old rotten fencing, and there'll just be big stacks of panels with slates, and you can just take off all the slates and you can put them in the middle. That would really be ideal. It'd work really well. That's a very viable option. We've also considered using carpeting. Again, carpeting is just, thousands and thousands of square yards of carpeting being thrown away in big metroplexes all the time, and it's really easy to acquire for free from any place that does carpet installations, because they take out the old carpet oftentimes and put in new carpet, and they've just got huge dumpsters full of it, and they're happy to give it to you away for free because they got to pay to dump it all. So go to a carpet place, ask them if you can have some of their dumpster carpet for a project or whatever. They'll probably say yes. You can find it on Craigslist easily. Sometimes you can just see it out on the side of the streets. So we thought about doing carpeting over the whole thing. That's potentially a pretty good solution. It would look kind of weird, but that would be kind of cool in and of itself. So, good solid day. This coop's getting pretty solid now. Definitely not going to blow over. Heavy duty, good hardwood. It's going to last many, 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 many years.